So then, although closed season may now be upon us, even though a lot of parks stay open for a lot of winter events anyway, but although what is widely known as closed season sort of is now upon us, it got me thinking about, instead of what I usually have to think about of like 1 or 2 things happening next year, I've actually taken a step back and thought about what we have next year to look forward to, and realised there's an awful lot, and that's all this video is essentially going through. I thought, why not go through new roller coasters opening in the UK for next year, because there is an awful lot. So then, first off, I think it makes sense to start at Drayton Manor, which will be opening their brand new family lift and launch coaster manufactured by Intamin. And this ride, I am so excited to see. We've obviously seen the concept video put together by Intamin themselves to sort of show off the model and what it can do, and what we've seen in sort of the advert for the ride model that Intamin offers, it looks incredible, and I'm so excited to see this open at Drayton Manor because I think this will fit their lineup so well. And now that we've seen scaffolding going up along the rides down the side of where this ride will be as well, it looks to be a massive area that they're working on for the park. So next year, that was one that I cannot wait to get down and see for myself, because if the Vikings area is anything to go off of, this area is going to be phenomenal, because Vikings, I'll be honest, blew me away when I went to see it. I was so impressed. So that's the first one, which I just cannot wait to see what happens with, really. And as well as that, for Drayton Manor, it should be mentioned that Shockwave next year will open as a sit-down roller coaster instead of a stand-up, which I have to say I'm kind of supporting. I did get a ride on Shockwave, I think it was a week before the last day for Shockwave, and it was a good ride. I'll be honest, I love Shockwave because it's that feeling of standing up in a roller coaster. It just feels so unnatural, and it is a very good layout for it. But I have to say, it is obviously not fitting in the theme which Drayton Manor wants to go down, a family ride, which sit-down trains for that. We'll turn that ride into a attraction that they can have many more people go on, in that height ratings won't need to be so high and it won't be so intense because you're not stood up. So great move for the park, even though that's not a new ride. I thought I have to throw that in because it is something different for Drayton Manor as well. As well as that, Dueling Family Boomerang coasters will be opening on the site that used to house raft races, and this looks to be incredible. I don't know loads about this project, so I'll be honest, it's one that's kind of gone under my radar a bit, which is probably because I don't do enough research into this stuff, but it looks incredible. From what I've seen, they look like they're going to fit the park very well. They look like a very good family layout ride, and they look to be great. Now, I don't know the ride manufacturer for this. I probably should have noted that down before recording. I've got a piece of paper behind the camera and notes on my phone to remember that I mentioned all the points. I didn't check the ride manufacturer. I don't know if it's been announced yet, actually. It probably has, I've just not noticed. But I'm guessing it's going to be the Vekoma Family Boomerang model. I'm guessing. It might not be. That's just a stab in the dark from me. But either way, I cannot wait to get on these, because Legoland Windsor is a park which I love to visit, and after we've had the Flight of the Sky Lion, that park is clearly doing great things, so I can't wait to see what these rides are like when we get to ride them. As well as that, Paultons Park will be opening a brand new family log flume called Splash Lagoon, which looks to be brilliant, and this will be opening as an extra area of what we've got as Lost Kingdom already, which is brilliant to sort of expand the offering for that area of the park, and it looks to be really good. Now, from what I could tell from this, it looks like it's going to be a lot like river rafts at Chessington World of Adventures, and I'm pretty sure Drayton Manor has one. I didn't check it out while I was there, so I think they did though. I swear I've heard people talking about Drayton Manor has one. I'm pretty sure it does. I could be wrong there. Please do correct me if I'm wrong. But it looks to be a similar log flume to River Raft at Chessington, which is brilliant. It's really good for Paultons Park to have, because they've obviously got the large scale log flume, which isn't exactly super kid friendly because it is pretty big drops for a log flume, really. But this ride perfect, and I think it's great to see an expansion to Lost Kingdom, because personally that is one of my favourite areas of the park. I think it works so well, especially with Flight of the Pterosaur sort of swooping over the main part of the area. Having another log flume on the side of it will mean that there's even more offering in this part of the park, so that's great to see. Now on to the major ones that I am ridiculously excited for and cannot wait to see open, and first up is obviously Nemesis, opening after its complete retrack and refurbishment in 2024, and this is a ride which the build up for this has just got me more and more excited to see what happens with Nemesis. Of course, it's such an iconic ride for so many people. I think the park kind of knew that they had to do something incredible with this, and by the looks of what we've seen with construction, they are going to. We've seen the complete retrack as of now has finished. The last piece of track went into place. The ride has been painted obviously to the new colour scheme with the black and red veins all over it, which looks phenomenal. And from the looks of what I've seen and heard people talking about, the station is being adapted very heavily. Now, I mentioned in the speculation video of what will happen with Nemesis, I said, wouldn't it be great to see animatronics and see an expansion of the station and make it more like the creatures living? It looks like we might have it, and I've seen tossed around a lot of places rumours of a pre-show for this ride, which I support very much so. It sounds incredible. And from images I've seen online, it does look like the building now is going to extend more into the turn, and there's an extra support structure going on around the final brake run. So we might be seeing a giant new station building for this ride. It could have a section like Wicker Man where you go in and you've got the dark bit where you go around the bend and you've got smoke. It could have pre-shows like people have mentioned, which I would love to see on this ride. I think that would be phenomenal. But one thing that is guaranteed is this ride is going to blow people away. We've got the new colour scheme for the ride and the trains, which look amazing. We've seen the new teasers for it, and obviously the name tossed around that it could be Nemesis Reborn, which Alton Towers did put in a request to copyright that name, not copyright that name. There's a word for it that I'm being very stupid and can't remember. Essentially when you try and buy the name for something like Thorpe Park did when you had Hyperia, which I'll go on to in a minute. Yeah, I think that name would actually suit it quite well. It's short, it's snappy, and it's to the point. I think it will work brilliantly for this ride. I cannot wait for it. We obviously know now that it's not just the main ride part they're working on. They did mention Nemesis and the surrounding area, which now we've had plans submitted to sort of revitalise the cafe outside of Nemesis and make it look a lot nicer and refurbish it and make it a lot more up to date is brilliant to see. It will be great to see that part of the ride done as well. It looks like this area is going to be very different to when we left it last year, and I just cannot wait to see this ride test and then finally ride it. It's going to be so incredible. Now, although we do have a lot to still happen on this project, the speed that this has progressed at is incredible. We know we're at a good place with this, especially knowing now that all the tracks have been placed. It is really that fundamental work in before they can test it, in that getting the station finished and getting the scaffolding down and basically getting the scaffolding and everything out of the way of the ride area so it can test, which is so far yet so close at the same time, so I can't wait to see what happens with this. And last but certainly not least, a ride which I am just so excited to see open at Thorpe Park. We have Hyperia at Thorpe Park. Now this is just, I can't even express in words how excited I am for this ride. It is going to be phenomenal from what I've seen. So it is of course a Mack Hypercoaster which will stand at 236 feet above the Thorpe Park Resort, which is just insane to think. It will then obviously open as the UK's tallest and fastest roller coaster, taking the height record from the big one, and this ride will reach speeds of over 80 miles an hour, which I just can't wait to get on this ride. It will obviously feature 2 inversions and feature lap bar restraints, which from rides I've been on with lap bar harnesses, they just feel so free, and I cannot wait to get on this ride. It will obviously be one of very few Mack Hypercoasters in the world. So that's a brag for Thorpe Park right there. And it's going to change the skyline and resort really tremendously. So I cannot wait to get back to the park and actually get on this. We've seen recently, track for this ride has gone up so fast, it's unreal. You can't keep up to date with how much track's going on this ride. You check back the next day and the bit that you thought, wow, I can't believe that they've got that far, they've got even further every time you keep checking. So I cannot wait for this ride. So then that's all the ones I put in this video. Now there are many, many more opening in the UK alone that I didn't fit in this video, mainly because I struggled to cram this list down to 5, if I'm being honest. There are so many more, so I might make a part 2 because there really is that many that could open. I'll see. So I cannot wait for this next season to begin, really. I've spent many closed seasons and even had lockdown, hate to mention it, but we did have it, where we had nothing really to look forward to for parks. I know that's saying harsh because we had little things, but it feels like we've gone from getting excited over one ride for one park through the entirety of closed season to having so many that you struggle to fit them in a video. There's that many. So I'm just so impressed, and it sort of makes you very proud to have the theme parks we have, really, doesn't it? Because they are pushing the boat out so much and giving us so many new rides for next year. I've got to now worry about trying to fit in all these visits to the parks to ride them. So then, thank you for watching. If there's rides that I forgot to mention that you think I should put in the next part, please do put them in the comments, because chances are I've forgotten many to put in the list for the part 2 of this video if I were to make it, because I've already started making a list if I were to, by the way. But yeah, please do mention them in the comments that I should mention in the next video. Please do also say what you think about these rides coming in the next year and what you think about them and if you're excited to get on them. So then, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.